Hello and good afternoon. This is Thomas Kraus from BlueSky Energy talking about the saltwater batteries, so what we are having. I hope you can hear me. Thanks for joining and taking the time for our webinar today. I would like to go through the webinar on the different slides, of course, and if you would have any questions, please address them as you wish, and I would go and discuss them and address them after each topic. First of all, a quick question. Can you hear me? Can somebody just shoot me a quick note if the audio is working? Excellent. Thank you very much. So off we go. So we are talking about saltwater batteries. And just a couple of words about the BlueSky Energy GmbH. We are an Austrian company. We have got a company in Belgium taking care of the Belgium and the France market and the Dutch market, of course. And we've got a US company in Idaho, which is taking care of our US business. So we are a privately owned company. We are in the storage market since 2012. And our focus is solely and exclusively to focus on safe storage technologies. And we have successfully deployed thousands of solutions worldwide. And we are pretty proud that we have got a saltwater battery, which is safe and environmental friendly in our portfolio. Talking about saltwater battery. Saltwater battery is a marketing term. Correctly speaking, it's a sodium-ion technology. So sodium is in that battery. And as you can see on the left-hand side of that slide, that is one battery tower with a capacity of 2.5 kilowatt hours. On the right-hand side, you can see a graph where there are the different components of the battery illustrated. We have got, of course, starting with the plastic housing. Then we have got a stainless steel current collector. That current collector, as made of stainless steel, is basically enabling us that the electrical energy which we are generating, which we want to store or discharge out of the battery, is getting in through that current collector or getting out. So that's the interface to the electronical area. Furthermore, we've got a manganese oxide cathode. Then we've got a synthetic divider, which is our fleece. The fleece is basically the separator between the cathode and the anode. That's basically like coffee filter paper. And on the anode side, we've got carbon titanium phosphide. And the name-giving ingredient is then the electrolyte with salt water, which is then sodium sulfate in water. And that is basically our electrolyte. And the electrolyte enables the ions to travel to the anode when we are charging the battery and back to the cathode once we are discharging the battery. All ingredients in there are environmental friendly and are also widely available in the nature. So we have got no rare materials or scarce resources included. That's how it works. We have got the sun. We have got, for example, a photovoltaic or solar application, which is providing us excess energy. And the ions, the yellow dots in that graph, are then traveling to the anode on the bottom through the separator within the electrolyte. And that's the process when the battery is charging, because more and more of those ions are getting then connected and intercalating into the anode structure. On the other hand side, if we want to use that energy then, that process is reversed. So the ions are traveling back from the anode towards the cathode through that separator paper. And then we are discharging the battery and draining electrical power out of that battery. So what you can see here with that setup, with that battery, it's a very basic concept. It's very similar from a setup to a lead battery. The only difference being that we have got natural materials involved, and there is no danger if something would spill out or spill over or crack. Furthermore, we don't have got any moving parts in there, so we do not pump any electrolytes from one to the other area like flow batteries. It's a stable, solid battery without any pumping, venting, cycling topics. So far so good to the battery chemistry. The characteristics of that product. So what we regard strongly as strength is the topic, it's a non-toxic product. So if something would spill over, no problem. It's a non-explosive and also a non-flammable cell. So inherently, that technology is safe. We, for example, did projects already in parking garages next to cars. You know, you wouldn't be allowed to do that with other battery technologies. We can do it because we are non-explosive and non-flammable. And the good thing, it's also a maintenance-free battery. So you don't have to monitor it all the time. It's maintenance-free, which makes it also a very usable battery in the field. On the bottom, you see a marketing stunt, what we did. We did a shooting on saltwater batteries to prove it's a safe technology and it's not exploding. So we engaged a hunter and that hunter shot onto the battery, as you can see in the middle. And what happened is basically, of course, it drained the electrolyte, it was spilling over, but no explosion, no flame, nothing happened. There's a question, what is the energy density compared with lithium-ion batteries? Our energy density is certainly not a strong point of that technology. We are double the size in comparable lithium products, and our energy density is around 40 kilograms per kilowatt hour stored. So therefore, we are solely and exclusively a stationary battery. So you wouldn't electrify a Porsche or a BMW with our battery. That wouldn't make sense. So we are certainly a stationary battery, and that's where we are focusing on. Okay. Next characteristic, strength. So we are able, with that technology then, to have a 100% depth of discharge. You can really fully discharge that battery without damaging the battery cells. We've got a very low self-discharge rate, ranging from 1.5 to 3% self-discharge over 1 month. So the energy can be effectively stored in that battery for a longer period. We, of course, are not a non-hazardous goods transport, so we can fly the battery, we can ship the battery. We've got no special restrictions on shipments, and there is no thermal runaway possible. For example, at the bottom, there was a drilling test done. We took some drilling equipment and drew a big screw into that battery, and the battery still works. There's still the power in there, but there is no damage or nothing happened to that battery. So it's a very robust, very safe technology. Another one on the strength side is the temperature range. It's -5 degrees C to +50 degrees C. Of course, a very comfortable temperature range, what we can work and operate in. And we've got a long shelf life, you know, even if there is only deep discharge. So basically, when we're doing small cycles, it's even a very long shelf life, what we have from that end, because in a lot of technologies, they don't like that. Therefore, we have a long system life. And at the bottom, you can see the flame test, what we did with that battery. It's a 30 minutes flame test, you know, held over a flame. And there was a pass, no explosion, no fire, no hazardous leakages of material. So far, so good to those points. Okay. Okay, then in all fairness, we have got not the wonder battery. Yeah, and there is not the wonder battery technology out there. There are always strengths and weaknesses. And I also would like to point out the weaknesses to you. And the weakness of our product is energy density. I mentioned it already. We are double the size than lithium products, so no application for e-mobility, for example. And another weakness is the C rate. So in our battery, the saltwater battery, needs a time of 3 to 4 hours to be charged and discharged. Then it's working on its finest, which is not a problem for photovoltaic connected applications, because there we have got the time to charge and discharge, but we are not suitable to make any grid stabilization where you need a lot of energy in a couple of milliseconds. And that is something which needs to be clear. It's a battery which takes some time to be charged, around 3 to 4 hours, and discharged around 3 to 4 hours. Then it's working at its finest. So those are the weaknesses of our technology. And I think you as partners and potential partners should be aware of it in order to position your projects in the right direction. Overall, of course, we have got a clear overview of our products. We have got included a battery management system and an energy management system within that product. And with that, we can make complete solutions. So we are taking the dumb battery cells, the saltwater battery cells, and convert it into complete storage systems. Then it's a GreenRock storage system. We have got then the opportunity to have emergency backup functionality included. Then we are switching within 20 milliseconds into island mode if the grid fails. Of course, we can make complete project off-grid. Of course, we can also make project grid connected. We've got the black start functionality, meaning if there is no energy whatsoever in the battery on whatsoever, then we can also start the whole system from scratch, from zero. That is only possible if we have got also a DC connection, a direct connection, DC connection between the photovoltaics and the battery to enable that. And to bring that, we can connect photovoltaics on the AC, but also on the DC coupling side. So we can work with both options there and are pretty flexible. So I would like to take the time and address a couple of questions. Will the webinar be recorded and be available afterwards? Yes, it will be available afterwards. What is the availability of the product? Thanks for asking that. Currently, we are looking, when you order today, you will get the product shipped in summer 2021. It is something what we are simply a little bit overwhelmed with that demand for that product. That is exactly the reason why we decided that we will make a much better cell manufacturing of that saltwater battery cells over here in Austria. And that new and bigger site, which is 10 times the current capacity, will go operationally in the second quarter 2021. Then there is another question. What is the energy density compared to lithium-ion batteries? We are double the size than comparable lithium-ion batteries. You know, in all fairness, lithium-ion batteries, there's a wide range. And in average, we are around double the size of lithium-ion batteries. At what inside temperature the battery work? You know, the inside temperature is basically around it should be above 0 and up to 50 degrees centigrade. That is where we can work fine with that battery technology. What we don't want is that the battery chemistry is getting below freezing, that the battery chemistry is then getting frozen because it's an aqueous water electrolyte in there, and the water would simply freeze, and of course then the battery would be damaged. Okay, so Apart from that, we have got also a very strong energy management system included in that product. We can do the normal, let's say, self-optimization features of photovoltaic systems or wind energy systems. We have got, for example, Wi-Fi sockets, which enable us that we can interlink certain consumers. For example, always the example is the washing machine. Normally, when the people in a household are leaving the house, the washing machine is basically started early in the morning. In this case, we can use our EMS with Wi-Fi sockets that the washing machine is then started when there is enough solar or PV energy available to cater for that washing machine, to optimize the self-consumption. Of course, we can integrate into heat pumps. We can integrate e-charging, and also we can do the power to heat functionality that with a hot water element, we can make hot water based on excess energy storage. So it's more than only dumb battery storage. There is a lot of smartness in our energy management system, which is part of our GreenRock storage systems. That's how it looks like. Of course, that's then all accessible, that you can see basically the graphs, what's the consumption, what's the production of the energy, what's the deviation, how it's the behavior over time. So that's all part of the visualization features of our energy management system, which is available, of course, via tablet or mobile phone, of course, also available normally over the internet, so web-based system. What we can also do is, of course, then we can bundle or cluster multiple storage systems. For example, taking a couple of those storage systems and then bundling them together. And of course, we can also bundle multiple energy sources. We can use photovoltaics and wind and diesel for off-grid or emergency backup. And of course, we can also use the grid for predefined times to charge the battery to a certain state of charge. So that can all be integrated in our EMS. And to the other point, of course, we can bundle a couple of multiple storage solutions. Of course, we've got the GreenRock, what we are just addressing now, our Saltwater product, but then we've got also our Wigos, our new product line, and also the Cell 3050. Those are our safe power products, which I will outline a little bit later on. And we can all bundle them together, cluster them, that we've got one management and a couple of energy sources behind that. We can do that out of the box, and especially useful for big installations, of course. So the range of the applications, we start from residential, private homes, apartment buildings. We go over to commercial use, agriculture, hotels, enterprises, manufacturers. Of course, we go then very strongly into the off-grid products and also for the backup applications like telecom towers. So that's the product range, what we are addressing from small to bigger and more complex ones. That's how the whole system looks like. That's our GreenRock home system. You can see on the right-hand side, we start with the battery stacks, the 2 battery stacks, which is on the bottom. On the top, we are then bringing the electronics onto it. And then we are giving the housing around that. So we've got at the bottom our battery stacks, and on top is the electronics. There is our battery management system. There is our energy management systems. There are the inverters, the fuses. It's a plug-and-play system. We ship it where you want to be shipped, and then it shouldn't take longer than a couple of hours to get that installed and deployed. And it should be very easy and straightforward to do so. A couple of examples for GreenRock Home. On the left-hand side, that's our friends in France. They made a nice project there. Then we've got a project here in Germany on the bottom side, where you can see also how it's fitted then in smaller space behind the staircase. So they're all very nice home systems. Very happy that we had the chance to execute them internationally. And then we come to the GreenRock Business. You know, the GreenRock Business, I forgot, the GreenRock single-phase system is 5 to 15 kilowatt hours, and the three-phase system is between 7.5 and 30 kilowatt hours. That is our storage capacity range for our home products. And the bigger ones are then the GreenRock Business, where we start from 30 kilowatt hours, and we are ranging up to 270 kilowatt hours. Okay, and then of course with the GreenRock stacks, that's basically when we are delivering our saltwater batteries along with our combiner board, where our combiner board is also including our battery management system, and we are deploying that, and the customers of ours then taking their dedicated inverters and mount them as they wish to do so in their premises. So that's the third option, what we are offering besides the systems. It's basically saltwater batteries on its own with our BMS in the plug-and-play version. Okay, another question, what we have, another project, what we have, very nice project, just really to illustrate what we can do really. Over here, we have a very nice project in the Caribbean islands in Dominica. We deployed here a container with photovoltaics on top, which was done by the customer. We provided the storage solution in the container. And this is a 105 kilowatt hour GreenRock storage system with all the electronics, a very nice project, and we are very happy about that. Time for some questions. General Motors is claiming that the new battery system will be more cost-effective than lithium battery systems. Will the cost of these batteries be substantially less than lithium batteries moving forward? Currently, honestly, we are, I think, on an even play field. We are on the same cost range than lithium batteries are, always comparing lithium batteries to the same product grade. So we are, I would say, in the same price range. And currently we are not competing on price. You know, it's an environmental friendly product. It's a very safe product, and that has got some value to our customers. And we are not striving to be the cheapest. And if General Motors is claiming that they've got the cheapest system, I am happy that they have so. We have got the safest and the most environmental friendly storage system. So we are a little bit different on that end. Another reference, what we did, also nice project, there's a water pumping project in Togo. We've got, you know, the photovoltaics that was done with the water pumping specialist of Grundfos. They did the water pumping and they did the photovoltaics, and our batteries are then supplying the energy that the water pumping can also be executed at night. We have a couple more references. We've got the school on the right-hand side in Sweden with our boss and founder, Hans-Jörg Weisskopf on it. And on the left-hand side, we are proud winners of the Innovation Energy Solutions Award. We received that recently in Germany. So, and on the left-hand side, we've got a glass house in Belgium, which we also are deploying our system and it's powering up that glass house. Couple of words on technology. You know, the technology has been invented in 1970 around, but got a little bit forgotten because compared to lithium products, the saltwater battery technology got a little bit forgotten. The correct term is an aqueous sodium-ion battery. You know, there are thousands of batteries deployed. And as I mentioned beforehand, our local production in Austria will start in Q2 in 2021. And the annual production capacity will be tenfold compared to the current production capacity. You know, we see a huge demand for that product, and we will cater for that demand in order that we are scaling up our production capacity. You know, maximum safety, that's the name of the game. No flammable chemicals, no toxic materials, no thermal runaway, no hazardous goods. And therefore, it's also a harmless transport topic. And, you know, we have got also in our decision making, that's the point, you know, we don't need and don't want to be the cheapest because the ecology and the safety aspect is really an aspect where 35% of purchasers of storage and batteries say, look, we want to have a safe solution. We want to have a solution which is green, ecological and friendly, and therefore go for our product. So therefore, we are well positioned being the safest and most environmental friendly, and that's our core competence. Are those storage systems only equipped with Victron inverters? Currently, our main inverters is Victron. Yes, that's true. We are also moving into now solar edge and SMA integration. That is also something what we're doing right now. At the end of the day, when you've got specific inverters, what you have got in mind, of course, our friends in the US are working with Outback Power inverters. So we are still open to that. And if you've got specific inverter requests, we can look into it. I'm sure like lead batteries are, we are also able to work with the normal battery inverters, which are available in the field. Okay, I mentioned it before, it's not a wonder battery. We have got the challenges in terms of energy density being double the size of lithium, and we have got also the topic C rate being rather slow in terms of charge and discharging, taking 3 to 4 hours for charge and discharging. And therefore, we as BlueSky said, look, that is a great product. We love it. We invest a lot in that product technology, but we have got also customers outside. They need more power in short time, they need a higher C rate, and they also have maybe space problems where we need a more and better energy density. And for that reason, we developed our Carbocap technology-based products. Again, this is a very safe product. That is important for us. It's always a safe product. Whatever leaves our house, BlueSky Energy, it's a safe storage technology. And it's a product now with high power and C rate. The basis of that technology is lithium titanate oxide cell chemistry. It has got a very high cycle stability, up to 20,000 cycles. It can range also in a very wide temperature range from 30 to 50 degrees Celsius. And Carbocap stands for CO2 reduction. Why is that so? Because 20,000 cycles, we can outlive a lot of other battery technologies over years. Therefore, no need for replacement. Therefore, we are protecting the environment because we need much less resources. And therefore, we also say we can really claim we are reducing CO2 footprint with that product as well. And out of those Carbocap technology things, there comes then the Vigos, which is our outdoor power storage solution. And of course, we've got also then a smaller brother. That's the performance battery Cell 3050. That is some exclusive information now because it's not officially released. Vigos, of course, that's the outdoor storage, but Cell 3050 is something which will come then in Q1 officially onto the market, but I wanted to make you aware of it. That's the Vigos product. It's designed for wet, cold, heat. It can be placed outside. It's water resistant. And of course, it has the opportunity really to place it where the energy is needed. When you have got remote locations, when you have got e-charging requirements, that is something you can put it there. No special shading, no special housing requirements needed, and you can place it there. And that is something which makes the Vigos unique. And the possibilities are now different. That is exactly why we said we need a different animal on that front compared to saltwater, because now we can look into more topics like shaving off the load peaks, shifting it off, that we have got a different load peaks and we get them aware, because we can react very quickly, and we can also, of course, provide a lot of power with a high C rate in a very short time. Again, being safe, that's the premise, but now we've got a lot of power and a lot of cyclability. And for example, applications come across now like load management for e-charging. The e-charging meta is becoming more prominent all the time. We can integrate various e-charging stations. We can deploy that energy now where the e-charging is needed in parking lots without having a lot of constructual requirements. And we can charge that e-charging very smartly and effectively, even if there are a couple of e-charging stations. That's how it looks like in real life. That's out of our site in real nature. That's a Vigos product. That's how it looks inside. We've got the electronics in the middle, and we've got the battery plates on the right and left-hand side of the product, depending on which size of capacity you're choosing. And the capacity is ranging from 18 kilowatt hours with 24 kilowatts in power. So that's the first option here with a C rate above 1, and going up to 96 kilowatt hours with kilowatts of 48. So that's the product range, what we are having with our Vigos system. And of course, again, we can cluster the Vigos. We can cluster the Vigos smartly with other Vigos, so we can go up in size. But we can also cluster Vigos, for example, with a GREENROCK system and making a power component, which is the Vigos, and having an energy storage component, which is saltwater battery. So we can do both of that as well. And that's now the little brother of Vigos. That's the Cell 3050. Again, Carbocap technology inside, 20,000 cycles, high temperature tolerance, but it's an indoor system. So it's no IP rating outside. It's an indoor system. And that indoor system is then basically using that topic. Again, the concept is the same. We've got the electronics on top. It's a very powerful indoor storage system with up to 1.5 C. There's a wide temperature range from -33 to +50 degrees centigrade. There's a high cycle stability, what we have, and of course a high quality EMS with all the topics that we can make hot water, we can integrate multiple energy sources, we can integrate diesel generators, we can make Wi-Fi sockets, e-charging. There's a lot of flexibility and power in smartness in that product. So, and then the third option, of course, is then again, we can make that as a standalone option. You are then deciding, I have got a dedicated inverter and I want like that the Cell 3050 cells are working with that inverter. It is also possible we are deploying then the battery cells, which are mounted on the left-hand side, as you can see, along with our BMS. And you basically take care of the rest. You make the mounting and integration into your inverter and off you go. That is the standalone package of Cell 3050. And the standalone package is basically starting from 2 kilowatt hours and ranging up to 20 kilowatt hours. And we strongly believe, we are fond of safe battery technology. I think I made the point very clearly, but we also strongly believe that it's time for cherry picking. There is no one and best storage technology out there, but we strongly believe with our hybrid options that we can cluster saltwater, Vigos, and Cell 3050, that we can cherry pick for you and for your customers with the right mixture of safe technology with energy battery and power battery and C rate and capacity retention and temperature range. So we can really mix that all together in order to make a real strong case and great project for your customers. So far, so good on my end. If you would have some questions to that, please, I'm open to discuss right now. We will share the presentation afterwards, do some marketing on our own. On November 26th, we've got partner certifications for GREENROCK coming up. We've got on December the 3rd, installation and commissioning. And for our Vigos partners and friends, we've got December the 10th. Is a registration, and December the 17th is another Vigos partner training coming up. So far, so good. Thanks again from Austria. That was great that you had the time, that also you were interacting that nicely with that presentation. Again, safe battery technology, saltwater, and now our new product line. If you would have any questions, happy to answer them. And otherwise, I thank you very much. I wish you a pleasant afternoon and hope to hear you soon. Ciao, bye-bye.